Hey guys, welcome to the first ever video of a little series that I like to call Yay or Nay, where I take the time to look at video games recommended by you guys in the comments and bestow a simple yet thoughtful rating of Yay or Nay. This series is meant to broaden everyone's horizons, including my own, so I hope you enjoy. Now if you're new here, which I presume everyone is, here's a bit of info on how the series works and what exactly you have to do to get involved if you want to see the games that you choose featured on the channel. Number 1, comment down below the games you want to see featured. Number 2, you can recommend any game, even unreleased ones. Number 3, episodes for unreleased games will get a secondary episode once the game is out. Number 4, there are no spoilers in Yay or Nay, so relax. Number 5, the series will follow 5 categories of evaluations based on story, replayability, characters, gameplay/mechanics, multiplayer if there is one, and personal appeal. Number 6, this is a discussion, not a verdict. Voice your opinion down below. Anyways, so without any further ado, I'd like to present you guys with the first ever game to be featured in the series, Studio Campo Santo's Firewatch. Story. Where do I begin with this one? Firewatch is a short game, like 4 hours short. But don't let that fool you, because in those 4 short hours, you'll be taken through a great story that'll probably leave you yearning for more and wanting closure. Picture it, the year is 1989 and you play as a man named Henry, a guy who probably isn't too much different from you or me. Henry has taken a step back from his difficult life to work at a fire lookout in Wyoming. And for those of you guys who don't know what a fire lookout is, it's one of those jobs where you sit in a tower in a forest all day and try to report and prevent forest fires. Now this guy Henry hasn't had the easiest life, but he doesn't really show it. He's 38 and yet to have children, married to the love of his life but she fell mentally ill, had a prior job but lost it in order to take care of his wife, etc, etc. And despite all of this, Henry is actually a pretty witty and chipper guy who just wants all the bad stuff to be over. Enter Delilah.
This shale slide is steep. How do you expect me to get down this?
I don't remember it being that bad. It's not even named on our topos.
Yeah, well, I'd go with Widowmaker.
Come on, it's really not that bad.
It's a 50-foot cliff made of rocks that look like knives.
They just look like knives, okay? Plus, there's already a Widowmaker on the backside of Carter Mountain. It would be confusing.
Henry's supervisor, who can only be contacted through the small handheld radio Henry carries on him at all times. Delilah is Henry's only contact with the world he left behind, but what an amazing contact it is. Delilah, despite having her own personal issues that she refuses to discuss, is also very witty and full of life. Her past is shrouded in secrecy, but that doesn't stop her from trying to bring the mood out of the dumps. Little by little, however, she does start to open up to Henry, and that's where the main story starts to take shape. And it's these two amazing characters that made the entire journey completely fluid and almost lifelike. Characters.
There's some guy out here giving me the creeps.
The creeps? Wait, he's looking at you? Is he doing anything else?
I don't think so.
Henry, there's something someone should have told you about this area.
What is it?
It's outside.
Come on.
The whole thing. And people come and go as they please. It's madness.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Now, I can't stress enough how ridiculously real Henry and Delilah seem to be. They are very well written characters and the story used that to its advantage. In fact, there's an argument to be made that the interactions between these two characters are the story, and I'd agree with that. Their witty banter and mature tone make them seem like people you might want to meet in real life, despite their obvious flaws. And you might even say that it's their flaws that make them real, whether it be Delilah's secret past or their tendency to break down on one another when the going gets tough, or even their playful interactions. All of this coupled together makes for a remarkably believable and relatable cast, which is an automatic plus. Gameplay and mechanics.
Holy fuck, Henry, we have to get into that site.
What the fuck is going on? People are listening to us?
I don't know.
Our radios are tapped? Are you fucking serious?
Our radios are definitely tapped. That's why I left you the one you just got.
How is this even possible?
I don't know, Henry.
What do you know?
I know that I'm scared.
As someone who comes from a rather large background of Call of Duty and FPS, in fact, I play it a lot on the channel if you want to check it out. This game was a big step down from the action intense moments you feel in FPS gaming. As a matter of fact, I'd say it was the complete opposite. A walking simulator, if I may jest. But similarly, if you're into movies, you may not mind it, because at the end of the day, that's exactly what this is, a playable movie. And after about an hour of playing, I completely forgot that the game was even slow paced, large in part due to the interactions between Henry and Delilah constantly clowning each other. But I will say that there could have been more done to help the gameplay, like maybe sprinkle a puzzle here and there, or some combat there and here. I really don't know. But surely for what the game was trying to accomplish, which was tell a meaningful story, they did a phenomenal job of masking the boring mechanical nature of the game with an atmosphere and characters that actually feel alive. Replayability.
So it's just the outhouse then, in terms of going to the bathroom?
You're a man, Henry. You can go wherever you want. Well, number one at least. And, full disclosure, I pee wherever I want as well.
Remember when I compared this game to a playable movie? Well, we can apply that logic here too. When you finish watching a movie, especially one that you have to pay for, you're not necessarily itching to go back and rewatch it, at least not right away. And that's exactly the case with Firewatch. This isn't a game that you could just hop on and discover Easter eggs or grind out different endings, and you can pretty much see all that there is to see in one playthrough. And that's not a bad thing for the type of game that this is. If this was, let's say, an RPG with as little replayability as Firewatch, then there would be a massive problem. But it's not, so I personally feel that it doesn't really matter. Personal appeal and final verdict.
I'm having a hell of a time getting this fucking flapjack off his ass and out to repair that wire.
Excuse me, flapjack?
You know, like a loser, a chotch.
I really don't, but I do now.
Well, the next time you're at a bar and some banker steps on your foot so he can order his crappy martini, you've got just the name to use.
Hey, flapjack, why don't you wait your turn before I bounce your face off a dumpster?
It's beautiful.
I think that I enjoyed Firewatch more than anyone should have. The dynamic between Henry and Delilah really showed two spiritful people with problems they've long had to deal with alone. And that really hits home for me. These characters reminded me so much of what human interaction should be like, and at times what it shouldn't. Their personalities, flaws, and voices really help seat them above a lot of other characters video games produce nowadays. The best way I could put it is that these characters more closely resemble ones you'd find in a novel, rather than a video game. And for those of you guys who don't like reading, you'll be surprised just how realistic they seem. So final verdict? Yay. I was hesitant to give it this rating because of the ending and how it brought me right back down to earth. Just when I started thinking that there couldn't be a better duo on the planet, the writers reminded me that Hank and Delilah are meant to be real people with real expectations. I was upset, confused, and left empty at first, but the more and more I thought about it, I realized that anything else would have been a disrespect to the lifelike qualities that these characters exude. I am glad that I got to listen to their story. And that is why Firewatch is in fact a yay. But anyways, that's gonna be it for our first ever episode of Yay or Nay on the channel. Perhaps stick around and hit that sub button if you want to see more content. This is in fact the second series I've introduced to the channel, with a third one in the works, so you're gonna have to stay tuned if you want to see more. Anyways guys, I've been Innocence. Peace out. Thanks for watching.